All right. Welcome to the Patriot Hour. I'd like to take a minute here every episode or so to thank everybody for joining in. We know you're busy. We know your time is valuable. So we like to bring you tidbits of information as it breaks throughout the day when possible. All right. Things that kind of play into other things that are happening and what's going on at that particular time and that moment in history. All right. As we find out, it becomes history immediately. All right. 2020 Dem hopefuls take digs at Trump with their State of the Union guest. All right. This is scheduled for tomorrow. And again, I'd like to say we're going to be covering that, folks, live. Come join the other Patriots down below in the live chat. It would be great. Probably jump in, talk for a little bit before. The minute it happens, we'll jump in, we'll watch it together, and then afterwards we'll maybe jump back in on the show, take some phone calls, take some comments from all of you. But again, the Dems take digs at their the guests that they're bringing, all right? More than a handful of those sitting in the House chamber Tuesday evening to hear President Donald Trump's State of the Union address hope to replace him in 2 years' time. And these Democratic 2020 hopefuls are making statements of their own by who will be joining them for the prime time event. One is bringing a transgender military commander, and others are bringing federal employees who were furloughed during the government shutdown driven by Trump's demands for a border wall. Each member of Congress is allowed one guest at the annual event, an opportunity that over time has transformed into a means of highlighting issues and taking jabs at the opposition. So Senator Kamala Harris, for instance, invited Tricia Percy Debrivik, an air traffic control specialist who was furloughed for more than a month during the government shutdown after losing her home in California wildfire in 2017. Now, since officially announcing her bid for president last month, Harris has been gaining ground with the Democratic voters, according to recent Political Morning Consult poll. All right, so they took a poll here at this Political. Another federal worker furloughed during the shutdown will travel to Washington from Boston area to attend the address as a guest of Senator Elizabeth Warren, the first major Democratic contender to announce an exploratory presidential bid last month. I think she did that on her live Twit feed when she welcomed her husband for joining them, and that she was so happy he could be there in his own home in the kitchen. So Sajid Shahara, an employee of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, will join the Massachusetts senator. So he's joining in, and more pointed dig at Trump, Senator Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat, New York, who joined the White House race in mid-January, invited transgender Naval Lieutenant Commander Blake Drayman, an act of protest against the presidential ban on transgender military service. Senator Amy Klobuchar, Democrat out of Minnesota, who is mulling a bid, will bring a constituent whose son died because he was unable to afford insulin, stirring discussions of affordable health care. Fellow Senator Jeff Merkel, Democrat out of Oregon, also weighing a run, criticized the Trump administration immigration policy in press releasing naming his guest, a Guatemalan mother and her 12-year-old daughter who were separated by Border Patrol agents when they entered the country last spring. So this is shocking, right? No, this is exactly how they do it. This is how they roll. Folks, this is a pension advocate for Ohio will join Senator Sherrod Brown. The local union president from the same state will join Rep Tim Ryan. Both Ohioans are considering jumping into the already crowded Democratic race, because we just need somebody to win from the Democratic side, right? I mean, what could they do to make it even a better, thing than what Trump's doing? We're gonna stop building the wall. We're gonna go back to, no jobs. So Representative Eric Salawell, a Democrat out of California, is likewise positioning himself for a potential run and invited Cameron Karski, a survivor of the Parkland shooting. So they really got some A-list guests going here, folks. I would also say, think about the conversation, right? So right now I've had some interesting ones. This has dawned on me. You got Trump bringing up child trafficking, drug running, the drugs pouring in. We've had the war on drugs, the human trafficking, the sex trafficking, and you're arguing, they're not even coming, and people don't really argue that's not happening. What you're arguing about is we're saying that it's coming this way, maybe in the empty areas. Other people say, no, this is happening at the border check agent points, the spots where cars come in and other ways. But nobody's really disagreeing that it's happening. And that's the big thing. The media hasn't been pitching it too much. We don't normally hear these stories. Some people cringe a little bit. They don't want to hear about it, but that's what's been going on for a long time. So what is happening is Trump's able to bring almost like a psyop in itself, to get the conversation going and to get everybody discussing it. That's all it is. And he's done that in many, many different areas in many different ways. So think about that. Things that haven't been talked about or being talked about. Too many people aren't arguing that they're not happening. They're arguing about how it's happening. And either way, the conversation's there now. Everybody's aware. People that weren't aware are aware. So interesting. Just interesting to think about. All right. Let's see here. Back to this article. I know it's over, but there's going to be war within the party. We are going to lean into it. This is her newest, I think. I came to realize Democrats are never going to learn, and that the only way to make a difference is to defeat the corrupt Democrats. They get paid to lose. The corporate donors pay them to be weak and pays Republicans to be strong. So, wow. That was that old, what's his name? Chunk Ugger from, I don't really like that channel. The Young Turks. So maybe you've heard the warning. The country is beset by a menace. A fringe conservative minority is holding Congress hostage, extracting radical policy concessions over the will of the majority, and it's leading the nation to a physical, environmental, and moral ruin. Maybe you haven't heard this part. These dangerous conservatives are Democrats. I'm talking about the radical conservatives in the Democratic Party, said Sakat Sharbarka Barty. I don't even know. That's who we need to counter. It's the same across any number of the issues. Pay as you go, free college, Medicare for all. These are enormously popular in the party, but they don't pass because of the radical conservatives who are holding the party hostage. Not long ago, this would have been an outlier position, even among American liberals. Today, it is the organizing principle of the newly empowered segment of the Democratic Party, one with a foothold in the new Congress. So this Chakrabarty is a chief staff to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, the closest thing to new celebrity Congress has had in years. A 29-year-old former activist and bartender who, on the most recent Martin Luther King Day, sat on the same New York stage as a rapper Common, Black Panther director Ryan Coogler, and MacArthur Genius Award winner Ta-Nehisi Coates. Although it's Ocasio-Cortez who gets all the headlines, she's arguably couldn't be in Congress in the first place without the group Chakrabarty founded, Justice Democrats, a new central player in the ongoing war for the soul of the Democratic Party. It was the Justice Democrats who recruited her in a quixotic campaign early on, providing a neophyte candidate with enough infrastructure to take down a party leader. And it's the Justice Democrats who see OC as just the opening act in an astonishingly ambitious plan to do nothing less than reimaging liberal politics in America, and to do it by whatever means necessary. That is true, folks. If it requires knocking out well-known elected officials and replacing them with more radical newcomers, so be it. And if it ends up ripping apart the Democratic Party in the process, well, that might be the whole idea. There's going to be a war within the party. We are going to lean into it, said Waleed Shahidi, the group's spokesman. So this is an interesting little article here, but you get the point. They're in a battle. Of course they are. They don't really have a soul. I don't really play into any parties, folks. For years, I as a young guy in the military, I think I'm Democrat. I didn't know. And then, no, I found out quickly I was like more leaned towards Republican, even back at 18, 19 years old. I think the first conversation that ever came up, and I heard it pitched from somebody, I thought, man, I think I'm Democrat, but and then I looked into it and I was like, no, hell no. And I wasn't really lining up with either. So even to this day, constitutionalist all the way. Those are my things. All right, look at that, and then I look and listen, because it's all we really got from each side, each party. And this time Trump, I don't think he's a true Republican either. I think you just have to pick one to run, and he did. And it was just a way to use that party to get to do what you got to do. Folks, tomorrow live, I might go have another video out for sure tonight anyway, but I just want to hit that on the head. It's interesting, all right? Trump's brought up a lot of conversation. What do you guys think about that? The conversation's going, just like over the 35 days of shutdown, he hammered in trafficking, drugs, wall, emergency, crisis, all right? These words were pounded. It gets it going. So leave a comment down below on that. We'll get the conversation going, and I'll see you guys back here on the next video. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. That way you get all the alerts when we put out a video. Check the description box. Any way you want to support the channel, the links are down below. We love all the Patron folks on our. It's just been great. Really helps. And we got some other ideas coming for this year, but we'll get into those on another time, on another show. I'm going to shut this one down. Again, God bless, Godspeed each and every one of you. Have a great evening.